One Northwest Arkansas couple is behind bars tonight. We'll tell you why.
And a deadly shooting causes a university to close. But where?
The full force of the law will be brought to bear with even greater intensity.
It is gorgeous out here right now, but bad weather moving through on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have more at your weather up here at UATV News.
Well, hello guys, welcome to UATV. I'm Sawyer Bussey.
And I'm Jackson Braswell. Thank you for joining us. Police arrested a Bella Vista couple today for the murder of a 6-year-old child. Mauricio Alejandro Torres and Kathy Lynn Torres are facing multiple charges related to the death of the child.
The charges include capital murder, rape, and first-degree battery. No other details have been released at this time.
Fayetteville police have arrested the man suspected of robbing Panera Bread at gunpoint. Goshen resident Billy Roche faces charges of aggravated robbery and terroristic threatening.
Roush was arrested Friday afternoon and his first court appearance is today. While it was a gloomy day here in Fayetteville, lately hasn't really been feeling like spring.
I know, let's go to Michael out on the deck and see if this weather's going to last.
That's right, it is gorgeous out here right now. I do believe it is currently 76 degrees. Yeah, it's just feeling like a beautiful spring day, a nice breeze, a little sun, a little overcast, just the perfect weather that you want. So it's just a nice day. Your daytime tracker for tomorrow, it's going to start off a little cool, about 63. However, we'll jump up to about 70 at noon, and then you'll finish out the day at 5 at about 75. It'll be a nice partly sunny day, so you better enjoy this partly sun and cloud mix, because on Wednesday and Thursday we are going to have some isolated thunderstorms, but we are not expecting really any tornadic activity with that. But we're going to have more weather coming up later at the newscast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Springtime in the Ozarks means tornado season is upon us once again. It's important to stay up to date with the weather forecast when severe alerts are announced, and you should also have a plan in place before the storm hits.
You want to get underneath pillows, blankets, a mattress, anything that you can do to protect yourself from stuff that's flying around in a tornado, which is known as debris.
Make sure you stay alert to the severe weather sirens in your area to warn you of an impending tornado. Also, it's smart to keep a tornado kit on hand, which includes a flashlight, package of batteries, and a first aid kit.
Each year, the journalism department brings in speakers and guests for an event they call J-Days. These speakers can shed valuable knowledge to current students in the field. Phil Gore has more.
Journalism Days is an annual event put on by the Lemke Department of Journalism to involve students with professionals in their desired fields of work.
I think a big part of the week is going to be connecting students to alumni and having them learn for them, having them potentially get leads on jobs, having them land jobs.
J-Days have been a staple in the program for many years. Liz Bryant, a former student and now full-time reporter, remembers the impact it had on her.
J-Days to me was people coming in that knew what the business was. And that's who I trusted and that's who I wanted to learn from.
Journalism Days is completely student run and prepared for all during the spring semester by Professor Jenna Shelton's event planning class, including senior Caroline Crossway.
Our department brings in so many cool people and there's so much knowledge that you can soak up in just a full week of a bunch of speakers coming to talk.
J-Days is important because you learn the real life experience. It's getting out of the textbook, it's getting out of the classroom and figuring out how you want to craft your career and how it really is out there.
Reporting for UATV, I'm Phil Gore.
Now students can follow J-Days on 2015 on Twitter for all updates and info on any speakers. The main event will be Thursday with a lecture from Bob Woodward. A Media and Communications Career Fair will take place tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 4 in the International Connections Lounge. The Career Fair is part of the Lemke Journalism Department's 60th annual J-Days events taking place this week. Business casual is required to all who attend, and all students are invited. Bob Woodward, one of the journalists who broke the Watergate scandal involving President Richard Nixon, will host a lecture at the U of A this week. The lecture will be in Hillside Auditorium on Thursday at 7:30. If you can't make it to that lecture, Woodward will be speaking at the Fayetteville Public Library on April 10th at 7 p.m.
When students graduate, they leave a permanent mark on the U of A campus. Etching graduates' names on a senior walk has been a tradition at the university since it was established. The class of 2014 is currently being etched into Senior Walk near the Yoakum dorm. Most off-campus student living only offers 12-month leases. But what happens when you have to move out in the middle of that lease? UATV's Caitlin Trusty explains a free resource students can use when they need to sublease.
I called my mom and I was literally bawling. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I felt betrayed because she was like one of my really good friends.
U of A student Kay Calzone found herself living alone, but that's not how she started.
So last semester I was living with my best friend. We were at an off-campus apartment complex for student living, and she and I kind of got into it, so she moved out on me probably late October, early November.
Her rent went up by $200.
I was trying to get my GPA up, so that was a big factor. I was working 2 jobs, so I was already stressed out as it was. Having to figure out what I was going to do to incorporate another $200 solemnly towards rent was absolutely terrifying.
But Calzone is not alone. Off-Campus Connections helps lots of students who need to sublease.
What a sublease is when you need to leave your apartment before your lease is up, and instead of breaking your lease, you can get someone to take it over for you.
Students can post sublease information and look for new roommates on the Off-Campus Connections website. Program coordinator Samantha Fair says this option is much safer and more effective for students.
By offering students the opportunity to post subleases on this website, it's a little more secure than using Craigslist or something like that.
Posting your sublease is a 3-step process. First, make an account on offcampushousing.uark.edu. Then, enter information about your lease, like rent, utilities, and amenities. Then, post it.
By using this service, it sort of asks you every possible question about your sublease that you probably wouldn't have thought of otherwise, so that way you're putting complete information out there and students that are looking for one, get the complete answers.
Calzone says she wishes she would have known about this service.
I would have absolutely used it. The girl I ended up having as a roommate now, and things have worked out, but I think it would have been better to be able to have that resource to kind of explore my options a little bit more.
If you would like to learn about other resources that Off-Campus Connections offers, you can visit their website or stop by their office on the 6th floor of the Union.
Does your RSO need some funding next year? ASG is having an information session to help you learn the process to apply for up to $10,000 in funding. This session isn't mandatory for organizations, but it'll help with getting some more money to support your group. The event will be tomorrow evening at 7 in the Arkansas Union Room, 504.
Today is the first day of Faculty Appreciation Week at the university. Chartwell's Eateries are offering discounts to faculty members this week as a thank you for what they do. A list of panels and enrichment events will be held throughout the week for faculty members, ending with an ice cream social at the Quad on Friday.
Well, a man possibly faces the death penalty in the Northeast. Find out why.
Plus, gadget lovers have a reason to get excited. The details coming up.
A Kenya university is closed following one of the deadliest assaults in country's history. Terrorists raided the campus Thursday. Days later, people are still searching for missing loved ones. Kenya's president denounced the terror act and declared that the government will do everything possible to support the victims and their families.
The full force of the law will be brought to bear with even greater intensity than has been the case in previous years.
Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has condemned the deadly assault on Garissa University College, declaring 3 days of mourning and ordering flags to be flown at half-staff. The fight to free Tikrit from ISIS may have been won, but Iraq's struggle is far from over. As troops get ready to liberate the city of Mosul, Tikrit is being touted by Iraq and the U.S. as a success, at least when it comes to the first phase of Iraq's war against ISIS.
Terrorist groups have announced it as the capital of their caliphate. ISIS will fight fiercely for the city. According to our intelligence, they have tunnels and bunkers. They will fight in full force for Mosul.
Iraq's military units, at the request of the Defense Ministry, are going through intense training with the U.S. advisors. Closing arguments are expected today in the Boston Marathon bombing trial, and the defense admits that Yokar Zanar was the bomber during the attacks almost 2 years ago, but claims he was acting under his brother's influence. 3 people were killed and hundreds more injured. And if convicted, jurors will have to admit that Zanar had been put to death. Rolling Stone magazine is in hot water today after a scathing new investigation found numerous flaws in its reporting. The report is centered on its now discredited story about a gang rape at fraternity at the University of Virginia. Police say there's no evidence that the rape occurred, which will hopefully not deter future victims from coming forward.
It was the collective fault of the reporter, the editor's supervisor, and the fact-checking department.
The reporting staff will get a second chance. Rolling Stone says no one will be fired, including the story's writer. California's historic drought is making it hard for many residents to maintain a nice yard. With new water restrictions in place, the governor is calling on people to move away from grass and look for more drought-tolerant landscaping. Landscapers say there are a lot of drought-resistant flowers, shrubs, and grasses out there, and putting these plants in your yard can save water and money.
We cut their water bill by $300, yes. From the eye, it looks like this is a lot more water and a lot more maintenance, but in reality, it's about half.
On Wednesday, Governor Jerry Brown imposed mandatory water restrictions for the first time on residents, businesses, and farmers. Fallout from passage of India's so-called religious liberty laws continues with protests at the NCAA basketball Final Four games in Indianapolis. Several hundred protesters marched from the Monument Circle to the state capitol, carrying signs, waving flags, and chanting. They say the law could allow people to use their religious beliefs as an excuse to discriminate against gay and transgender people.
I'm out here for all the citizens of Indiana. All Hoosiers should have full civil rights.
Late this week, Indiana's governor clarified the law. He signed an amendment banning discrimination based on factors like race, religion, disability, or sexual orientation.
Coming up, social media influences students every day, but not always in a positive way.
And Girl Scouts are spreading happiness one cookie box at a time. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to UATV News. I'm Michael Morrison. Right now we take a look across the U.S. We had some bad storms that moved through last week, or matter of fact, just even the other day. They're right down here. With the highs and lows that moved through, it's obviously been pushing them through and out. And that's actually going to come through and set up for our storms that we're going to be getting on Wednesday and Thursday, because it's pretty much just going to come and stop right on top of us. We're going to get some rain, thunder, lightning, and possibly even some isolated thunderstorms. We really don't think it's going to be any tornadic activity, but I mean, we really just don't know. The temperatures also play a big role in it too. I mean, you can see the high right here. It's real warm moving through. And like I said, the temperatures, they play a big part, because whenever you get that daytime heating, that's going to cause a lot of problems in the atmosphere, which will cause the hail, the rain, the lightning, all the fun stuff that you just love. But I mean, it's not too bad. And here's also another look at this Doppler of those storms that moved through the other day. They're now hitting Atlanta, Nashville. And then they're going to make their way to Florida before they just move away. But as we took a look across the natural state, some of the temperatures around here in Russellville, 71 degrees, currently 70 in Fayetteville, 65 in Harrison. That's going to feel a little bit cooler, or actually a little bit warmer. It's not really going to be too much of a difference. 73 in Fayetteville, 69 in Harrison. But whenever we come back, we're going to have a look at your 5-day forecast. Back to you, Sawyer, at the desk.
Gets in the way of studying, but how badly does it affect college students? UATV's Farah Abu Saif has more.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all huge distractions for college students.
So when one gets boring, you can just go on to the next one.
The outlets are endless, and for students like Sydney, it's hard to pull away from double tapping and scrolling.
When you have this huge chunk of stuff that you know you have to get done and study, it's just like makes you want to, pick up your phone and just forget about it.
And for other students, new environments influence their serial use of social media.
In high school, all the social media craze was all you pretty much had to do. And then you get here to college, you meet a bunch of new people, and people are doing crazier things.
But when it comes to grades, things are a little different. A recent study by the University of New Hampshire showed no correlation between heavy social media use and grades. But still, that doesn't mean you should let your phone keep you from studying.
You're here to learn, and it's all about your effort that you put into college and your education, and if you don't put in the effort and time, that's what you get. You get distracted.
If you're addicted to tweets and likes, there are a few tips to help you stow away those habits and keep your nose in the book.
It's easier if you will set a timer and just do small chunks. Okay, I'm not going to look at it until the timer goes off, and I'm going to really focus hard for this 1 hour.
And for you laptop lovers, here's a tip to keep your eyes on your notes and off your newsfeed.
If I bring my laptop to class, typically I'll turn off my Wi-Fi as long as you're stuck to your notes and what's on your screen.
But remember that with freedom comes responsibility. Don't let what's enjoyable now keep you from what will benefit you later on.
I feel like it kind of comes with maturity and prioritize how much time it's okay to waste and how much time they're wasting needlessly.
Now, it's always better to set a timer when you do your homework. Try to keep away from your social media until the timer goes off. When you hear the ding, scroll away.
To be old watches. Apple says you can start ordering at 12:01 a.m. Pacific time on Friday, April 10th. And here's a big switch. Once the watch is released, we won't be allowed to line up outside Apple stores to buy one. You have to make an appointment for a fitting.
With summer season fast approaching, you may be thinking of hitting the gym to slim your shape for swim season. But did you know that regular exercise can also make you look years younger? From glowing skin to a better posture, a regular workout can shave years off your appearance. And if you want to stand a bit taller as you age, do some strength training. Building your core supports your spine and creates better posture.
Can you imagine getting a free box of your favorite Girl Scout cookies? A young scout thought about how she could spread happiness in a place where smiles are hard to come by. As she sold Girl Scout cookies, she asked customers to buy a box for Children's Hospital, too. She and her troop received 6,000 donated boxes.
The Arkansas Razorbacks had their first scrimmage of spring camp, whose stock is rising.
The Diamond Hogs played the Auburn Tigers this weekend, and Coach Dave Van Horn became the second coach in Razorback history to reach this milestone. Next on UATV.
The Razorbacks will be having their 7th and 8th spring practices this week, but over the weekend the Hogs had a scrimmage to show their progress this spring, just 3 weeks before the annual Red-White game. On offense, everyone is focusing on Brandon Allen. Allen threw the ball 15 times, completing 8 for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. And while everyone is keeping an eye on Brandon, fans should pay attention to one receiver who could be making Allen's life a little bit easier. Eric Hawkins was a 3-star standout for his high school team, but hasn't had the same level of success with the Hogs. Hawkins hasn't seen much playing time in his first 2 years, but that could be changing.
You know, I think in today's day and age, when you don't play as a freshman or sophomore, everybody's like, well, what's wrong? Well, you know, he's getting ready to be a junior. I think he's got to continue to grow, and we knew he could run. He caught the ball well, and we've obviously need players to step up at that position, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Hawkins finished the scrimmage with 3 catches for 108 yards and a 32-yard touchdown catch and run. And on defense, Brooks Ellis is transitioning from middle linebacker to the weak side linebacker spot. Ellis spent his first 2 seasons at middle linebacker simply because the Razorbacks needed him there. Now Ellis has moved back to his natural position, and the Hogs could be reaping all the benefits.
He really has bought in to what that will is. He understands the game, he understands the patience, and he's very active. He made a play on a toss play to the left where he ducked under a block and came out the backside and still made the play against Alex, which anytime you show that type of versatility gets you pretty excited. I think he's engaged with it and hopefully going to put himself in a great position.
Ellis ranked 2nd on the team last year in tackles with 72, and he was also tied for first on the team with 2 interceptions. And season tickets for the 2015 Razorback football season are on sale now. The packages are starting at $300 for all home games at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Fans that have purchased this month will also be able to personally select their seats starting in May. 2 big conference games on the home schedule include the 2013 national title runner-up Auburn Tigers and the 2014 Orange Bowl participant Mississippi State Bulldogs, who spent several weeks ranked #1 in the nation last season. Also, tickets for the Hogs game in Little Rock against Toledo are $55 this year, which is $10 cheaper than last season. Now, the Diamond Hogs rallied with 4 wins over the final 4 runs over the final 2 innings on Sunday to complete a 6-4 come-from-behind win over the Auburn Tigers and claim the weekend series. The win improves Arkansas's record to 16-15 and gives their conference record a much-needed improvement to 5-7. This puts the Hogs at 3rd in the SEC West behind LSU and Texas A&M. The Razorbacks have won back-to-back conference series wins and have won a series against Auburn for the first time since 2009. Arkansas returns to action Tuesday evening, welcoming Mississippi Valley State to town for the first of 2 midweek games against the Delta Devils. First pitch on Tuesday night is set for 6:35, followed by an afternoon start at 3:05 on Wednesday. And with the win on Sunday, Coach Dave Van Horn won his 500th game as the skipper for the Arkansas Razorbacks. The victory against Auburn was also Van Horn's 1,085th win in his coaching career that spans nearly 3 decades. He joins Arkansas legend Norm DeBryan as the only 2 baseball coaches in Razorback history to win 500 games. Van Horn has averaged over 40 wins per season and is the 3rd active coach in the SEC with 500 wins at his school. Coming up, Michael Morrison will have a look at your 5-day weather forecast.
Welcome back to UATV News. I'm Michael Morrison. Our 5-day forecast is going to be a little fun. We've got sunshine on the bookends of some pretty bad weather. Like I said earlier, we're not expecting any tornadoes, just a couple isolated thunderstorms throughout the day. I mean, it's not going to be too bad. What do y'all think of it?
Well, it looks like it's going to be decent weather, but thank you guys for joining us tonight. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Jackson Braswell.
And I'm Sawyer Bussey. Have a great night.